My name is Genevieve Bargello.
And I'm Eileen West.
And this is CFB News. For the first segment this morning, we wanted to spotlight one of the best attractions in Clatfartburg, the Public Museum of Clatfartburg.
The Public Museum features 3 different departments. There's science, history, and art, all of which are easily seen with free access at $30 for parking. It's very accessible, and the public can enjoy many different artifacts, such as the following.
Visitors delight in experiencing the blonde otters and their taxidermied previous generations.
Feel free to dress up just like the otters, or even eat with one of the taxidermy otters. It'll have a great old time. And don't forget to hit up the history section where you can see the fountain from the stick.
You can also there see one of the old outfits from the cow army.
As we all recall, the B-Force were such a crazy time. And don't ever forget the mysterious statue of Bartholomew, Arkansas, alias Bartholomew Alexander, one of the great mystery outlaws of Clatfartburg.
Hold on. Eileen, could you pause for a moment? I'm getting a message in my inner ear that I have.
Yes.
Apparently, we have breaking news. There was recently a heist planned on the Bartholomew Alexander / Arkansas bust.
Really? Unheard of. We never have breaking news here.
Yeah, an unidentified figure in a bee costume attempted to steal, this is what I'm hearing right now, attempted to steal the bust. They were unsuccessful, but they did leave 100 matches on the floor and stole all the light switches and left a sausage on the way out.
As we all know, sausages here in Clatfartburg mean dastardly things and have a negative connotation.
Yes.
This does not bode well for the Clatfartburg Public Museum as well as possibly the city at large. We recommend everyone keep an eye out and to dial into your local news stations to us so we can continue to break this news and nobody else.
But if you are planning a visit, you can also go to the postal experience and really experience what it was like to deliver mail back in the early 20th century. Weather effects and all. It does cost an additional fee, but it is worth it.
And don't worry, internships for the summer are opening up for all departments. Please be sure to know that you will be boarding within the museum and probably will not be able to go outside and interact with others. This is a great experience if you have no experience, and you will be paid in memories and knowledge. You can reach out to the directors via their podcast, focusing on the Big Bang.
You were a graduate of it, weren't you, Eileen? Weren't you?
Indeed, I was. I did kicked out, though, because I tried to take a nap within the otter aquarium, and I did fall into the water.
I've heard many have gone that way.
Yes. The good news, though, is the Blanche otters do know how to do lifeguard duties, so I was gently carried back as my unconscious body was flopped back onto the steps. But, you know, anything to do to get a good story, even back then for the yearbook, I was ready to go for it, so everything's delightful. Thank you.
Well, with that all being said, we will see you guys back in about 2 weeks with the most infrequent news broadcast on the planet. We'll see you then.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for watching CFB News.
Hello, everyone. We're here.
You're now entering Clatfartburg. Welcome.
You are. We're a comedy world-building podcast. Did we say that the last time? I feel like we might not have. But does it really matter? Does it really matter?
It probably, actually.
It probably does. We are still on episode 3. I think we can't presume at this point.
We can't just assume people. We're like, oh, fuck it. If you're here, you're here. And if you're not, it probably won't happen. We are hard to find on the map, but don't worry. This world-building comedy podcast is continuing to expand all the aspects of the fictional town of Clatfartburg, such as the Public Museum.
I'm Felicia.
And I'm Elaine.
Yeah, last week we talked about the Public Museum of Clatfartburg, and we actually talked more about the Public Museum of Clatfartburg because we had such a fun time talking about it. So that's on our Buy Me a Coffee now. So if you want to see all about the heist that we developed on the bust of Bartholomew, Arkansas, Bartholomew Alexander, which Elaine brought up to me that I had changed his name by accident throughout our conversations. I fully, in my heart of hearts, thought I was consistent, but apparently I just started calling him Bartholomew Alexander at some point. So I guess that's his legal name, and Bartholomew Alexander is his thief name.
Did you just say Bartholomew Alexander is his given name and his thief name is Bartholomew Alexander?
Fuck, man. Fuck. Bartholomew Arkansas is his thief name. No, Bartholomew Alexander is also his thief name. Bartholomew Arkansas is his prison name.
Sure. Anyway, we go more into the lore and we talk a lot about the founders as well, and all the interns you heard about.
The podcast of the museum.
A podcast within exist. A podcast within a podcast, actually. So it's a whole hour-long extra bonus episode at Clatfartburg.com. Which will
and you can get it by being a member, or we also just have it for sale as an extras thing. So if you just want to get that and dip, fair enough. It's there for you. And all of our old bonus content is too. So there you go. There's our mandatory plug. And now we can get into the meat of this episode.
Meat? Meat? What do you do with meat aside from have great epic wars? The beef wars from 1804 to 1807.
I got really confused for a second. I don't think that's a diss on your joke. I get confused very easily.
No, I mean, we've had 1,000 things. And if you just popped into episode 3, you're like, the fuck are you talking about? And that's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's
it's probably
fine.
Not important.
You'll catch up.
So. Yeah,
you'll catch up.
Ketchup? Meat and ketchup? What could that possibly have to do with today?
Well, today, we're talking about the episode topic that I pitched as the pilot. Now, I knew it would not be a good pilot of this podcast, but the episode I have thought about the most and been most excited to do is crafting Clatfartburg's ultimate theme restaurant. This idea has enraptured me. I don't like saying the word rapture anymore. Can we cut that out of my vocabulary permanently?
Yes.
Can my brain forget that word exists?
Just bleep.
From the podcast that shall not be named. Mm-hmm. We'll move on.
Yeah.
I think it's because I just really like a theme restaurant. As we know, there's two things I love: elaborate theming and things that look outside but they're inside. And you can get both of those things at theme restaurants pretty frequently. I love a theme park too. That's not really correlated. I just love a theme.
Well, usually if you go to a zoo or a theme park, they tend to have these themed restaurants as well. They continue the lore. And the whole aspect is you go into a different world, essentially.
I do kind of in my ideal house is very themed restaurant. It's very this is the... I like places where rooms have a name.
Yeah.
Any place where they're I've dropped you in the lilac room. I'm oh, what the fuck's going on here?
Right. My dream is an escape room that's also a themed restaurant. So, to get through the appetizer, you solve one part of the escape room, you sit. And then they're okay, get on to the dinner part. It adds an extra layer of, man, I love solving puzzles, but also I'm hungry and I want to get to the other side of that door.
We could consider that. I'm not against it.
Oh, shit. Okay. Putting it on the back burner. Put that on the back burner. Wait, okay.
So the previous episodes we've come in and very much decided these are the things we're going to come into the episode with. But we realized with a theme restaurant, it doesn't really make sense because you don't want to come with the dishes before you know a theme.
Exactly. And this is where it's fun for us to cook it up together, if you will.
Exactly. We have a series of attributes we're going to figure out about this museum, about this theme restaurant in order. And we're going to discuss and figure it out. So first, we need to decide the theming of this place.
Yes.
So one trend, and I don't know if we lean into this or shy away from it. We've had a lot of aquatic-based things recently. And Clatfartburg does seem to have a preoccupation on the aquatic. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was some of that in the theme restaurant. But I also think we may be good to move outside of that.
I'm thinking let's go outside of it because if it's a themed restaurant, you don't go to the Rainforest Cafe when you live in the rainforest.
That's a great point.
You know what I mean? As we all know.
As we all know. And again, Clatfartburg is not coastal. They're lakeside.
They have a lake. They have a lake. That stems from a river. Different,
but they'll never say it.
Yeah. No, but they're really leaning into it. So
no, I agree with you
I think we can move away from the aquatic, which I think will provide some depth to Clatfartburg as well. Because even though there's kind of this fascist level of love to Crispy, I'm sure there are some people who maybe aren't super. The people are God, I live in Clatfartburg.
Yeah.
We have a lot of enthusiastic people, but I think this could be a fun opportunity to kind of unveil that aspect of Clatfartburg as well. Because I imagine this theme restaurant is
types.
Exactly. Yes. These outsiders, quote unquote, or those who aren't honoring Clatfartburg tradition. They refuse to sell the Clatfartburg chowder, for example.
Exactly.
And
their excuse is it doesn't go with the theme,
Exactly. So if we're not going aquatic, that kind of opens it up. Do we want it to be themed on an experience such as pirates or on biomes? and then kind of going from there with the lore.
I feel more experience. Something like, I mean,
Yes.
I'm thinking experience or time period. You know,
Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
just remake medieval times though. So
Yeah,
it's
that's fair. I do think all of the wait staff and hosts
and pirates is also aquatic.
No, it would not be pirates, but just, you know, that pirate versus, you know, cowboys. Don't get me started on some stupid Western shit. But
I like how you said that without me saying anything. You just said that. You just had a moment of silence, and I didn't get you started. You just said cowboys, then stared at a wall and said, "Don't get me started."
it's because in my head I was like, resist.
Oh no, I knew what was going on, but it was
you
still
watched me
very fun. Yeah, it was fun watching you battle your impulses.
I have this weird thing where I love Western songs, like, and I have a whole playlist.
We're in the same boat here. We cannot redo the Harvey Girls, Elaine.
No,
I
we can't.
banned no more train-based things. We had our fun last episode.
Yes.
No more train-based things.
Yes.
And I honestly think we should also move away from Westerns. I'm trying to challenge us to get out of our comedy wells that we tend to go to. Not to say wells again. Not to say wells again. But
yeah. Okay. So if we're going for an experience, we mentioned possibility of the escape rooms that can be on a side. It could be if it's an experience. Do we want it to be? I don't think it should fully be like dinner theater, but I think the way that some restaurants' menus have like this whole like weird lore. I hate to bring it up, but Universal's Toothsome, for example, that entire restaurant had a lore with their mascots, and their menu was like 52 pages, and there were like short stories throughout the entire fucking thing. Yeah, I could see this themed restaurant having a book for a menu because it has all that shit.
If we do that, if we go like an escape roomy route, we could have like a Sherlock Holmes or a knockoff type protagonist for the restaurant.
Ooh, yeah.
There's something about that that's intriguing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what if your spoons are just little pipes, little smoking pipes?
Yes. This is good. I feel like this is it. I feel like this could be it because we could go on that for forever. So this is what's interesting about it is, and this is very Clatfartburg. It is a murder mystery dinner restaurant. So people assume it's murder mystery dinner theater. It is not murder mystery dinner theater. It is just themed like it would be.
Yes.
There is no theater happening here. No one will do a performance, but it is murder mystery themed. So a lot of people don't know what's going on. And, you know, there could be a whole speakeasy element with the escape room. I don't know. These are my thoughts.
No, I like this because then if we have the wait staff and everybody kind of in character, for example, we could have a table and like they're not correct necessarily because I love the idea of someone dressed as Agatha Christie just sitting at a table by herself and they go, Agatha Christie's ghost has been known to haunt these parts. And they're like, that's what the fuck does that even really mean? You know, Agatha Christie's ghost, you know, and like stupid shit like that.
So it's just a murder mystery themed restaurant, which I like this.
Yes. Okay. And no one's allowed to sing. Except for the cabaret band, the little jazz band they have. Okay. Do we imagine jazz? Yeah. Maybe they have punk night as well. Occasionally they have punk night.
Do we want to come up with the name? Or do we want to let that come to us?
Maybe we'll let that come to us. I did just have the idea the children's menu could be called the ABC Murders.
Oh, that's
Murder
fun.
Mysteries. Whatever that... Oh, what's that series? Or the book?
By Sue Grafton. Why do I know the author's name? I worked in the library. Okay.
Wow, killing it. Yeah. Oh, Agatha Christie, the ABC Murders. Oh. That's what I was thinking of. But there is also the A to Z Murders.
Okay, I was thinking of the A to Z Murders. So in my defense,
you're good. Half the menus have the ABC Murders, and then the other one is the ABC Mystery. A through Z Mysteries.
Thinking, is the menu in code?
Yes. So there's a cipher. There's a cipher. What I'm thinking. There's a
cipher.
So that's why it takes so long to read the menu because you have to take the cipher
menu is not in cipher.
No.
But everyone does judge you if you order from it.
Now,
it's a sign of defeat.
A word search.
Okay,
so the kids still have to do a word search. And they're like... So it's still taking the kids a hot second to do.
They started a program where they'll send you the menu in the mail 3 days ahead of time. So you can come prepared. But a lot of people don't do it.
When you get those like takeout menus in your like mailbox or whatever, this is one you actually need to hold on to because it provides the entire instructions leading into it. You might need to bring in your own pens and markers and stuff. If you want takeout, you have to killing somebody, right?
I mean, I was thinking that, or I was just saying you have to do like an insane amount of like passcodes to do it. And it's not that they don't do delivery. It's just that they're making an air of exclusivity.
Yeah. I love the idea that there's this one DoorDasher who has become insanely good at logic puzzles because they keep having to pick up food. And they're the only DoorDasher who can
it's like
actually
a
go pick up this stuff.
Prove if you're human.
Yes.
But like you have to prove that you want it.
Okay. So the children have to do word searches to figure out their food. If their parents help them, it's an extra $5. And then the adults are having to go through this giant fucking menu with their cipher, just trying to like, figure out what they want. And everyone gets a different shape, by the way. So each menu isn't the same. I was going to say, is this a multi-floor? Is it like 2 floors? I imagine no more than 2 floors.
I feel like and
is it basement?
Well, this is the thing. We need to talk about the theming. I feel like this is themed like an old house. I feel like it has to be themed kind of like an old house, is my thought. But I think probably there's different rooms. So like one room is like the study and a study with Mr. Sherlock. And, things like that.
Study, and then you can have like castle. And you just have not a castle, but Castle, the show. And it's just, you can like put on things. I like that. Different scenes throughout, like what you would imagine, different mysteries and murders throughout time, I guess. Maybe not murders directly, but there is the Zodiac Killer table where the code is the tablecloth. And you can see, even though it has officially been decoded, you can see if you can do it as well. They've created their own. Wait. What if do they have the rights to use all these people, or do they have to come up with their own knockoffs, right? Because it's a Sherlock Holmes knockoff.
Well, Sherlock Holmes is in the public domain. But I think it is funnier if maybe they were concerned about it.
Yes.
Just generally, like, how is the theme shown throughout the place? Because we have all this, and I want to talk about, do they employ animatronics and sound effects? Because I think those are 2 keys of the theme restaurant that we need to... I was thinking for sound effects, do they play distant screams every hour or 2? Yeah.
So maybe this is mild inspiration from Rainforest Cafe. All of a sudden, and it comes out of nowhere, maybe. A loud thunderclap, the lights turn off.
Someone screams. And if you can figure out what table that scream came from, or whatever table it was played from, you get a 10% discount.
I love that. If you can find the dead body, you get a free dessert. And it's just this poor 16-year-old having to be like just laying about, maybe in like the bathroom. And then can you imagine, you're like, oh God, but you have to drag the person to get your discount. Like, oh, come on.
No, okay, I like that better than figuring out where the scream is from. This is how you get your free dessert. Someone collapses. So then the regulars, the thunderclap goes off. You hear the scream, and then the lights turn back on, and there's like 6 people fucking sprinting, doing fucking laps around this place to try and find the corpse. Oh, this is so stupid.
So this is so great. Wow. Yes. Okay. That's beautiful. So yeah, we have some theatrics like that. To the animatronics, I'm trying to think. I feel like these people had a decent amount of budget and then they maybe ran out. So I imagine maybe they have used animatronics that they are having to repurpose now.
Yes, agreed.
So I imagine they're a little older, they're not as smooth, and maybe at one point they were like a Chuck E. Cheese guy and they've turned it into a human now. And what would that look like? And how creepy would that be? I imagine quite creepy.
I don't want to see that. Yeah.
Which is why it must be included, I feel like.
Yeah.
So kind of like those wax figures in museums when they're trying to recreate like, oh, this was the uniform he wore, blah, blah, blah. I imagine like that kind of vibe for the animatronic or something like. I feel like you have more knowledge in this area.
Yeah, I think there's probably a guy writing at a desk. I'm thinking there's a guy who just writes at a desk,
and all you're hearing is just scribbles. You're just hearing scribbles the entire time, and then maybe a crunched paper. What if he crumples up his paper? Is like horrible, and he keeps writing.
Yeah, but there's not paper that goes into his hands. He just kind of.
Yeah, and his pen's hovering over the paper, like never fully on it, and like
I think they're like we're not supernatural though. So it's like, how do we, because they're like, there's a lot of murder mysteries that aren't supernatural, but like seem like it.
Yeah. I like I just had the idea, maybe not in the bathroom, but like an animatronic where you have like a window and then just someone slowly peeks up and you only see their eyes and then they slowly peek down again.
Absolutely.
So like, if you're really not expecting it and you're like, what?
I think there's a big plant that somebody like peeks out from behind too. It's a lot of just hiding people.
Now, they do put the tables really close to these things, I imagine sometimes. And then you're like getting brushed by this thing, and it's very terrifying if you don't know.
Don't expect it.
I
feel like there should be I love bathroom theming, and I do want to talk about bathroom theming.
Oh, let's do it.
If you don't theme the bathroom, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, go all the way.
Go all the way. So what are we thinking about this bathroom?
Do you have to figure out the lock to get in the stall?
Absolutely you do. You absolutely have to figure out the lock to get in the stall. I was thinking they definitely put in those drains on the floor that whenever you walk in a bathroom, you're like, huh.
Yes.
Interesting.
You're like, why'd you have to put that in there?
There was probably showers here one day, but I still don't like it. I'm still not happy about it. So I think there's definitely those in there. I'm trying to think what else. I think there's just a bunch of bottles that just say opium on them.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like that was of the era.
Maybe that's what the soap is in. Opium, and then laudanum is the lotion.
Yeah, very fun.
I love it. Wow.
Yeah, because everything I keep thinking is like ghost shit, but it's not. It's not ghost shit, and they want to be so clear it's not ghost shit.
So, mystery things, magnifying glasses. That could be
the mirrors are big magnifying glasses.
Big magnifying
How
glasses.
Adorable.
The locks, they're the kind where you just need to find the 3 different codes and then like rotate them in. You're like, cool, that's the symbol I need. So there's a wall of different symbols, and they rotate them out because that's safety. You don't want everyone to always know the way to get into your place. So it wouldn't be safe if they didn't rotate out the answers to the stalls. So if you almost shat yourself last time, you're like, I at least know the fucking answer, or you can tell your friend. By the time your friend goes, the code might have changed.
Exactly.
So it could be like a riddle, or it's like here are all these alchemy symbols, and now figure out what possibly could have.
There's just like a periodic table on the wall, and you figure out what to do with that.
Yes.
Escape rooms fucking love a periodic table.
And then people are like, oh, and that's why they have the drain in the middle of the room, just in case people can't figure it out. They were like, we have to mop up too much. This at least makes it easier. I just imagine the changing table for babies. Like, that has to be something silly.
For babies?
It's a briefcase. It's like a babies. Infants who need diaper changes. You
just said babies.
I said babies.
It was a lot.
But it's like a briefcase.
Yeah.
We won't make people having to change diapers. We won't make life hard for them.
I'm thinking sometimes there's one fake stall that doesn't have a lock on it, and if you go in, a little hand like floats up to the surface and then goes back down.
And then can you imagine? You're like, oh yeah, this is right, and you're like, oh my god,
why is there a fucking hand in this thing? Like, whenever you open the door, it like activates a thing where like a finger will float to the top and then like sucks it.
Yes.
Because somebody, I guess, flushed a body down the toilet.
Yeah,
I guess they flushed the body down the toilet.
They always leave these little vials that have like hidden, like a little message, and you open it and it's like, please help me. I'm missing because I've been kidnapped here or whatever. And this is why people get confused, so that it's not an actual like theater experience, is because there's a bunch of fake clues everywhere and you think you're gathering them to solve something bigger, but you're not.
They're nothing just to solve.
There's nothing to solve. Now, are there some, and they never outright say that really either. Like, if they get complaints, the waitstaff has just been told to say, it's the most complicated mystery in all of Clatfartburg, and it becomes this thing. So
and they say that in the town of fucking Delanoir and Bartholomew Alexander / Arkansas. So it's a bold statement. There's a lot of mysteries in Clatfartburg.
There is.
Who the fuck is Crispy? Where did he come from? One of the mysteries, which we will establish later, but not now.
No worries, not now. Should there be, and again, I don't think there should really be a lot of Crispy, but I think maybe like the town council,
I want
the
him
city
in one
council.
of those deer hunter hats.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So maybe he's on a plaque over a hearth.
Oh my god!
With a little like thing.
Have you ever been to one of those towns? There's a town near where I live that has little statues of bears all over the town and in different areas with different outfits on them. I definitely think there are crispy statues put in places. And outside of this one, there's a crispy with a little pipe, a monocle, and a deer hunter hat.
That's really good. It's a great photo op.
I'm thinking about it, and it's making me happy thinking about it.
I love that a lot. That's perfect. And it's fun while you're waiting. And he'll talk. He'll say things.
Yeah.
By Jove. I've cracked the case.
Oh, I love this. What do you think the staff is wearing? Because there's got to be costumes, and I have been thinking about that. Are they covered in blood? Are some of them murder victims? I was thinking about that. Does somebody just have like a...
Yeah, I think in
like
one
a
of the
bloody shirt
rooms,
with a knife in it?
we might have a bit more of that. I don't think it's throughout the entire restaurant. We have like a ton of different, but I feel like, and then that way you can be like, yeah, take me to like the level 3 gore room or whatever, you know, like I imagine they at least are willing to give people.
Right. I think it's I mean, it's very costumey.
For sure, yeah. But it's like, okay, you don't want the kids to see that one fine. That's in the back room back there. So yeah, I imagine there's like the ghost room of sorts where it's like the victim's past, like Haunted Mansion. Like imagine Haunted Mansion with the graveyards and they have like the funny little tombstones. So imagine that, but they're all like different like mysteries, or maybe they're even past detectives, so it doesn't have to all be like just people who were off. It could be like mafia people and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely imagine them like all in like little ghosty gear and like maybe, you know, the classic acts.
I like that. I like having one room that's ghost based, but they get really mad if you insinuate anything else has anything to do with ghosts. It's only that room.
Yes, and they're like it's historical. We're referencing it's fiction, but we're referencing the experience. It's not the ghost itself. We just it's silly to make them alive.
Isn't that funny?
It's funny. Do you get the joke? They're walking around, but they're not zombies.
Here.
We don't fuck with zombies. Zombies, not a mystery. Not a mystery.
Ghosts are a mystery. I like that. I'm trying to think, what's the general costume? I'm thinking a waistcoat. I'm thinking everybody has. Sorry. I just want to give a note. On every table, there's a magnifying glass for you to inspect your food.
That's so good. So your spoon is a little pipe. Okay. Yeah. You have a magnifying glass to inspect your food.
Your knife looks like a knife.
A legit stab you knife. And then maybe the fork is...
the end of it looks like a quill pen.
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's really good. I love that, Felicia.
Thank you.
That's good.
Napkin dispenser? What are we thinking for the napkin dispenser? Are we thinking a book? Are we thinking a book with pages? I feel like that. Like, and the pages are napkins.
Yes. Yeah. I like that.
A book with pages and the pages are napkins.
I mean, not to go Nancy Pankin route, but would they have paper napkins or would they have like cloth napkins?
They would have cloth.
Okay, so it's like wedged in the... Okay, and that would be
they
perfect.
are supplied by Pankins napkins, and this is a problem because La Marque Rouge does supply the ketchup, so this is where they're feud. And when they go to the annual contributors meeting, because that's a thing, they were really rooting for each other. That's when they do the murder mysteries parties, is for like the people who work on it.
Oh, yeah. Now, La Marque Rouge, I bet, is pissed when people try to use their ketchup as fake blood, though.
Yes, they are.
Don't use... It's not a prop. It's an experience.
And they've had to call it out many times. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, if we see more people misusing our ketchup as fake blood at this restaurant, even if it's for a bit, we will have to rescind our involvement with the project.
They have submitted so many op-eds.
So many. So many columns that have been rejected.
Yeah.
Letters to the editor of nothing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
Costumes, outfits. We were thinking waistcoats.
Yes, waistcoats.
Are we thinking hats?
Hats. Oh, can they also carry a briefcase when they open up to like pass out the menus and stuff like that? They're like, and maybe the food comes out in it has to come out in cloches. What am I even saying?
Yeah,
this come out in a cloche place. Yes, and one of them, they always put one in the middle, and then like in the gore place, they lift it up and it's a head. That's and there's either like somebody who's been waiting under the table for ages because they ran out of animatronics. So some of the tables have the animatronic when they're like, oh, I dropped something. And then your waiter scuttles under the table. And then when it's time, pops up and it's like, do you need anything else? It looks like you have everything you need. Goodbye. And
That's fun. I'm thinking a little hat. You know, one of those hats that has the rim, but then it's a little poofy on top.
Oh,
just the hat Alec wears in Murray's. I watched the last hour of it last night.
Like a golf cap, I think is what they call them sometimes.
Much.
A couple bowler hats if you want. Very classic Sherlock Holmes / like a Pinkerton detective kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is
a lot of fake mustaches, regardless of gender. That's an optional do it if you want kind of thing. Yeah.
And they're nice. They let their wait staff actually choose which of the costumes they get to wear.
Which is one benefit of this place. You will have to play a dead body for at least 3 hours, but
right.
You do get to pick your outfit.
It would be nice for one establishment in this town to not be completely awful to their staff. So, like, there are some real downsides to it, but that's what it's like working in the food industry, you know? It's way better than the museum, you know? Hey, okay, I gotta wear a little outfit, sit on the ground for 3 days and get dragged around this dirty-ass restaurant, but you know what? I make minimum wage and beyond. And they have good benefits.
They upcharge a lot. I was thinking another thing. Do they have people solve their receipt? And if they get it wrong, there is an answer. And if they get it wrong, they do get an extra charge. It's like taxes. Good. It's like how they know how much you need to pay in taxes, but we won't tell you. You have to figure it out. And we'll tell you if you're wrong, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That thing. That's what I'm thining. Something like that. You have to solve your receipt. Because that's sometimes how I feel. But I don't know, maybe if I think that requires you to have figured out the code from before.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are those
the prices
puzzles,
are there. You're just adding it. It's not that hard.
Yeah, you could put a numerical value to each letter, you know, so if like you can make a sentence with those letters and then you have to take the numerical values of them and then like divide it by 2 or whatever. And then that's how much your bill was or something like that. It could be one of those more in-depth. I made an entire puzzle book for my friends for Christmas and it kind of ruined my life for 6 months, but I have gotten very in-depth with all the cryptograms and bullshit like that. So maybe it's just a cryptogram. Now, I think that we have a great opportunity for tips because, you know, I got a tip for you, you know? Maybe I saw Donnie over there on the sidewalk, tap dancing over there with the drugs or something. I don't know. But like, you know, you give your waiter a tip. I feel like we got something going there. Maybe you're supposed to.
Maybe you give them a monetary tip and then in return, the waiter's like, well, I got a tip for you too. Mm-hmm. I saw a man.
I got a tip for you. And that's how you get hints about the bathroom. This is how they get tips. They're like, oh, you want it? If you tip me, I'll give you a clue on how to solve your menu. I'll give you a clue on how to get the bathroom.
This is why it's one of the best things in Clatfartburg. You can make like $200 a table.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Wait, that's so smart. Yeah, that's how you get your hints.
And then sometimes some people play hardball. It's like, it takes a little more than that to buy me. That's
and then they accidentally end up doing.
Somebody wants to buy a Switch. Oh, it takes more than that to buy me, mister. 5 shillings isn't good enough. No, sir, it's not.
I'd rather go drink some of my whiskey back in the car than even talk to you anymore about this. Man, I miss my wife.
So I don't know, maybe solving the receipt, maybe that one they do give you for free because they do want their money. Maybe
that's
but
fair.
You can ask to solve the receipt. Solving the receipt feels cruel to me, but I like the idea of a tip for a tip.
A tip for a tip, yeah.
And this is the problem because people think there's a big mystery to solve. There isn't. This is just tips on like how to get to the bathroom and how to solve the menu.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you have a lot of people walking around, so they do encourage people to explore the different rooms, even if you're not sitting there. You can walk around,
right?
And people might start ogling at your table, you know, but
I think there's a few environmental mysteries. Like you could figure out something that happened in a room, you know, but nothing crazy, nothing too
like Freddy the Fish's mystery of the missing conch shell.
Exactly like Freddy the Fish's mystery of the missing conch shell. Exactly like that.
Yeah, so they could have, or it's like the emerald is missing from the crown jewels. Or things like that. Like
there's like one mystery that you can figure out by like environmental clues, but not much else.
Yeah.
It's like the golden idol.
I guess with that, it would kind of if we want to dive into the food, I think it might also expand on the lore because it seems like every aspect of this is really doing it. Now, do we think they have good food, or is it?
I would say mid tier.
Yeah.
If this place was vegan, it'd be so funny.
What if they have a really great vegan menu?
Shockingly, a great vegan menu.
They have an amazing vegan menu. So,
I don't know why it seems so like it wouldn't be. I think maybe because it's all murder.
Murder? Yeah. It's.
I don't see like murder mystery. Actually, no. The people are probably gonna be like, actually, but. I
think it's just, you know, the concept of like, oh, you're vegan,
and
you're
does
like,
love the concept of this restaurant, you know?
Yes.
But no, it is an odd choice where I'd be like, oh, I guess I'll get fries. No. You want a quinoa bowl? We have it. And like, I don't know.
What can they call it? Quinoa bowl?
Film quinoa.
Film quinoa bowl. That's the quinoa bowl. There has to be something with mashed potatoes. I don't know why, but I just really feel like mashed potatoes are a big thing at this
masked
restaurant.
Potatoes. Reveal the masked intruder in your potatoes, and there's a little guy inside of it. there's a little guy inside of the potatoes.
You can collect all the different characters.
Maybe that's what it is. You, through the meals, you uncover these little figurines that you can link to things in the environment, and that's the mystery. There's no theater, but you collect them like trading cards, and if you get all of them, you can figure out the mystery. I think that's what it is.
Yes. Oh, that's so good.
So then when you're like, I could get a tip, and he's like, hey, have you ever had some of those mashed potatoes? I think there might be some information in there you need to read. And then one of them, they don't even do it. It's just like a scroll. Is it one? But that's the thing. It forces people to try different things. And maybe this is the one of the founders' ways of getting people to eat more vegan food. You have to order off that menu. For completionist.
Absolutely genius.
They will cook alternatives for people who don't eat meat.
Again, like they're like, okay, you figured it out. Now we can like work with you on like substitutes and stuff, you know.
They'll give substitutes for people who are being the completionists to do it. They're not going to be like, you're not allowed because you can't eat the steak off the menu. Like that would be fucked up.
Yeah, that would be fucked up.
But
indeed.
You can't drag the body from the third floor.
Yeah, that's fine. Everyone signs a waiver for that room. That's just a whole a thing. And then you just know about the bathrooms going in, you know?
Yeah, you know about the bathrooms going in.
Maybe there's a Kaibo out in the back if you get really desperate, but it's the Kaibo of shame, so.
What the fuck is a Kaibo?
A Kaibo? Oh, it's like a loo. It's like a little porta potty, essentially.
Like an outhouse?
Yeah.
Okay. Every once in a while, I'm struck by our regional differences.
Oh,
very rarely.
I'm a very big Girl Scout. I was trying to think of something with like dough for like the bread rolls and stuff.
Yeah,
like get the dough.
The Earl's daughter.
No, I love that.
There's always a character in a mystery that's like the Earl's daughter.
Yeah,
like it's like the relation
of
somebody who is important, but not
because then
person.
Again, it'll lead people to be like, wait, what's that mystery? What's that hint? And then you got to keep, you know, and it's like. Because I can imagine, too, they might, like, this owner clearly loves mysteries and probably has very niche references that people honestly don't understand definitely. At all. And they're like, I don't get it. And I can't think of anything, like, right now.
And then there were fun dip.
And then fun dip.
There were fondue.
Fondue. Fond who done it.
Fond who done it. That's good.
So they have mashed potatoes.
Okay,
steak in the game.
There
steak.
we go. If you want to order steak and you want it well done, you have to say, and then there were well done. I was gonna get one day, and then there were well done steak, please. And then there will well done. It's like nothing. And then there will none done. Well done. Then there will well done.
My good old friend Sammy is the sandwich section. That's not from anything I don't believe. It's just, it sounds like my good old friend Sammy. And then it just has a little picture of a Glock, but it's like a cute little like cat holding a Glock or something to represent the cozy cat mystery room.
Yeah, we love it.
It's like a weird mesh of things.
It's a lot. Yeah, there's like the mafia room. There's a lot going on here.
The piping hot, whatever, that can be the soups.
Yeah.
Salads, I imagine, can have something as well. But I imagine very like American food, classic American food. What's their desserts? They gotta have death by chocolate.
Death by chocolate, of
obviously.
course. I'm trying to think if there's something with fries. I just want to come up with a good name for fries. I mean, dies. Steel cut dies. Is steel cut fries a thing? Did
Fries
I
or
make that
dies?
up?
Yeah, steel cut fries is a thing.
Steel cut dies. Steel cut dies.
So
They're
they
not
have
great.
like they show
They're not
like a
good
knife for
puns.
steel cut, and it could have just stopped there. So there's steel cut fries, and then steel cut dies is the chili fries.
Sure. I love it. Okay. So what were you saying? Oh, the dessert
Cold
menu.
cases. Cold cases is ice cream.
Cold cases is ice cream.
Yes.
And they're all just names of people. They're not real cold cases.
Yeah.
You can get Jane Doe.
Is that cookie
The
dough
ice
ice
cream?
cream?
Of course it is.
Oh my god.
You can get Jane Doe ice cream. And a lot of other
I feel like Rocky Road seems dangerous.
is this Edward Minton? Is that a name? That's mint chocolate chip.
Edward Minton.
I just come up with I feel like that is something. No, that's nothing. Hell yeah. It's an original.
Madame Francais is French vanilla.
I love this.
Her name was Mrs. French.
And there's like a portrait of all these fake people on top.
Yes.
They roll out the ice cream
One
cart.
of those characters is one of the collectibles you can get.
Exactly.
You know?
But you
And
don't
they
know which one.
and I imagine they rotate out the different people you might end up getting too, which is why you want a seasonality continue to go.
Yes.
They have really great marketing schemes.
Great marketing schemes.
Oh,
I'm trying to
that's
think if
good.
there's anything else.
Milkshake. There's something to do there. The milkshake down. The milkshake.
You can get cold case drownies. And there's just a little person with their feet sticking up coming out of the chocolate sauce.
Oh my god, that's really good. Oh no. Coke is just Coke. Also.
Cocaine?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but no. I was like, you were like, hey, I get a Coca-Cola, you know? And they're like, you want a Coke? And yeah, so you get the, but they do a sugar rim on the glass. And then you're like, I didn't need more sugar to have my soda.
Yeah.
But thanks. Wow. Burgers. That's the only other one I feel like I would like a name for. The ham.
Murders? Because they rhyme. Because they have two similar syllables, Elaine. Murders and burgers are very similar.
Beefsteries.
Okay, you can't get mad at me for murders and burgers if your solution was beef streets.
Patty Lock and Key.
Padlock and key? Like padlock and key?
I like Padlock and Key.
Maybe this is the name of one of their fake rip-off people.
Handcuffs should be one of the burger types. Instead of handcuffs, handcuffs.
Okay, handcuffs is fun. And you can stuff your hand through the burger. They cut a circle out in the middle of it. I'm thinking maybe someone's last name of a fictional detective is like
Poirot
Sullenberger, like the guy who geese plane.
What did you say? What happened there?
Like
Geese
Sully
plane?
Sullenberger, the guy who geese planed. There was a goose and it got in the plane, and I think he landed it safely, but I didn't know how to say that, so I said geese planed.
Is this like from the brain of Felicia, or is this
No,
referencing
this is a
a real?
thing.
What the hell?
Tom Hanks starred in the movie Sully, which was based on the life of Sully Sullenberger.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm with it now. Wow, that's okay.
I don't think it's a good solution. It was what I had.
I know, I love it. I would love the Poirot burger because he's a Belgian detective to be like a Southwest burger.
Yeah.
I don't know why that would just give me giggles. Burglar. What are we doing? Not the Hamburglar. We can't do that.
Sliders.
Slider. Slide.
Sliders.
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 That's good.
We got there. We got there, guys.
Okay.
Thank you for trusting.
Yes, thank you. I feel content now with what we got to serve.
We need a name for this place. We absolutely need a name.
We need a name for this place.
I feel like it should be a bad pun with how everything else has been here.
Yeah, it's gotta be a good bad pun. Okay. Diner. It's not a diner, but I'm just gonna throw out things. Die and diner.
Right. I think crypt code, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Cooked. The game is cooked. The books are cooked. The cooked books. You know. Something could be
I
cooked.
like that.
Cooked has a thing.
The meal is afoot.
The meal is afoot, and then everyone's like, "That's disgusting. What? That's so weird."
The meal is afoot. We don't have to keep the meal as afoot, but I'm not opposed to the meal as afoot.
I like that being somewhere. Maybe that's the tagline.
That's the tagline. The meal is afoot.
The meal is afoot.
And every once in a while, if you order the wrong thing, if you order something incorrectly from the cryptic menu, you get delivered afoot on a plate. The meal is afoot, isn't it?
And it's just like bread rolls or something horrible like that. That's what they've
Just,
done
like,
with it.
Into a mold of a foot, yeah.
It's Jell-O. It's a Jell-O foot.
Oh, God. That's horrific. Oh, what do we think the complimentary bread rolls here are? Are they just normal? Hope you enjoy your dead rolls. They do call them the dead rolls.
Well, I think it was like bringing in the dough or something, right? The dough.
They rattle the basket. Anybody hear that death rattle?
Yep.
They're the death rolls. Or the dead rolls.
Biscuit and run. I don't know. I like the death rattle because it's so they use those like little metal containers for the butter, and so that's when they shake it up, it makes that noise like, oh, the death rattle. And maybe red confetti falls out from the bottom, like it's one of those grated little plastic
very fun.
trays, and so they shake it and they're like, oh,
and they're like hard pretzel rolls, so that's why.
Yeah,
because pretzel rolls are just great, and I think they should be there.
Love pretzel rolls and some brown bread.
Yes. Okay, so back to the name, because we keep switching our topics. The game is afoot.
The game is afoot.
The meal is afoot. The meal is afoot.
The meal is afoot. Cooked. The game cooked. Cooked and crooked. Crooked cooked. Cook. Feast. Cook.
There's locks on the bathroom. The meals are afoot. The name is just called There's Locks on the Bathroom. Can you solve the menu?
The last meal. Not like in a Jesus way, in like a death row way. And that's what, in parentheses.
These are all rejected titles.
They were like, no, that can't fit on the sign. That can't fit on the sign, Diane. I was like, oh, damn it. Okay. I'm going to try to think of more like food, like kind of the things we kind of talked with the menu, but more of like maybe a verb and an action, or like you said, a phrase. So like what are common? So obviously the game is afoot. There's case closed. Right, that's a classic one.
Queso closed. They don't make queso. But wouldn't that be fun?
They only had Mexican food. That would actually be
if there was a
hilarious.
Mexican murder mystery restaurant called Queso Closed, that actually would be fucking great.
I would fucking love that so much.
Queso Closed.
I can't. There's something you can do with churros. I don't even know. I just love churros also. That's
we're like, go back to the drawing board. We almost had it. We were so close. Queso Closed is in a neighboring town, and they are rivals. And Queso Closed is kind of better. But
it's a little better. Yeah, we can admit. And, you know, people don't say it too much, but case closed, rookie, detective, mystery. I'm trying to think of more mystery stuff as opposed to just like murder, tidbits.
I'm looking at synonyms, which is bad.
Oh, steak tips. We should have had steak tips in there too. Tips and tapas is another one.
God, Queso Closed is the best name we're going to come up with. This is the worst part.
Oh my gosh. Red herring?
I feel like Swallow has something, you know?
Swallow? Swallow.
I feel like in mystery books they're like, he swallowed hard. He thought about
I don't know. Or it could be alibites. The game is the meal is afoot.
Rolls. Let's go back to bread roll. What are the names? Masked potatoes. Mashed potatoes. The game.
Mashed potatoes.
The meal is afoot.
And that's their calling card, is the mashed potatoes. It's really fucking dumb.
I don't know if I can approve it.
Okay, we'll put that on. Hunch, crunch.
Hunch. I like a hunch.
Hunch.
Okay, hunch.
Hunch.
Lunch and a hunch. The game is the meal is afoot. A hunch with
for lunch.
A hunch for lunch.
A hunch for lunch.
The meal is afoot. A hunch for lunch. The meal is afoot. We did it. And then when it gets to dinner time, they flip over the sign and say, "A sinner for dinner." The game is afoot. The meal is afoot. Because you know how mystery games, the mystery novels always have their names tie into each other.
Oh, and then it's really easy to do a hunch for brunch. So it's boom, boom, boom. Blood orange mimosas, easy. Bloody Marys, easy.
Lunch. All right, a hunch for lunch. We signed it, we sealed it. A hunch for lunch. The meal is afoot.
Wow.
Clatfartburg's Ultimate Theme Restaurant. I do want to say, what kind of gift shop are we thinking on this thing? Because they absolutely are making their money that way.
Sure.
Little code books.
Yes, little code books, little logic puzzles. I imagine we have a local author. Maybe the person who made this restaurant wrote a whole like coffee table book about.
And you think they tie in, but they don't.
No, they don't.
It does not tie into the mystery series. Because you always have about 8 local mystery authors with the worst cover art you've ever seen.
You know what's great is because you had mentioned, I think it's in the bonus episode on the museum, that there's a whole series for the Blanche Otters where they solve mysteries.
You can get a Blanche Otter in a little deer hunter cat or deer stalker cap or whatever the fuck it's called.
There's obviously random stuffed animals that have nothing to do with...
Absolutely, as there always is. Rock candy, because you'll never not get rock candy.
If you guys don't know this, we are putting rock candy at every fucking opportunity we can in every single thing.
Okay, but like that's how it is in real life.
It is. But
I don't like rock candy, but they're everywhere.
You don't?
It's too hard for me. I'm like an old woman.
Oh, that's fair. I love it. I'm like, I'm eating crystals. Hee hee hee. Yeah, I was really into caverns as a child.
That makes sense.
That does make sense, doesn't it?
But yeah, and I think you can buy little outfits and stuff, and you know you can come in with a little outfit. So
they have to have T-shirts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what would their T-shirts be?
I mean, I had a hunch for lunch. That's a big one. I met a sinner at dinner. You know.
Do they have a mascot?
I solved the bathroom codex puzzle at a hunch for lunch.
Yes. That actually would be fun. I
solved the bathroom codex puzzle at the hunch for lunch. Okay, do they have a mascot? I think it's their knockoff Sherlock Holmes is who it has to be.
Yes.
Are we going to do a vowel swap? I mean, not to bring him up, but a Wally Wonka type swap?
Herlock Sholmes.
Yep. I like Herlock Sholmes.
Herlock Sholmes is so dumb.
Herlock Sholmes.
Herlock Sholmes sounds like he wears plaid and khaki pants. And...
So does Sherlock, bitch. That's Sherlock.
No, but I imagine like what my grandfather wears. Unless my grandfather was indeed Sherlock Holmes.
Oh my God. Get down to the murder mystery restaurant. They're going to get there for you.
Is it like a cartoon kind of thing? I'm just imagining the cartoon version of Pink Panther for some reason when we say this like Sherlock Holmes character.
I was just picturing a dude, but yeah, we can do that.
Like a human, like an actual human face is like the mascot.
Just like an etching. I was thinking
good. I was like, a live actor would be like, so scary.
I think it's a deeply uncharismatic mascot. It's the guy who's writing in the study is what I think it is. That's who it is. That's who I'm basing this on.
Oh, good.
Herlock Sholmes.
Penning all his letters and his cases.
I think it has to be Herlock Sholmes. We're not going to come up with anything better than that. It's so stupid. It's perfect. Do we think they're whatever? I don't want to make it this dire because I'm like, you could have a whole story about how there's a real murder there, but I don't really want to get that dire. I think it's fine.
No. I mean, and if anybody wants us to continue any aspect of this that we've mentioned, like if you do want to know, like, what is the, like, more of the lore, I guess, if maybe we decide there is more lore or whatever the puzzles are. I mean, again, we enjoy doing little additional stuff maybe we wouldn't do on a main feed.
Yeah.
But we could do it on our Buy Me a Coffee. So I guess if there was any aspect of this, you're like, actually, I do want to know how you solve the menu or something. Yeah. I don't know, whatever. But
so, in conclusion, the Clatfartburg's ultimate theme restaurant is a hunch for lunch. The meal is afoot. With its mascot, Herlock Sholmes.
I just imagine them like sponsoring a rec soccer league and they just have to have Herlock Sholmes on their fucking jerseys.
And I like how hard a hunch for lunch, the meal is afoot is to say. It's so difficult to say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a whole
shockingly.
fucking...
Listeners at home, give it a try. It's hard.
You know what? I bet everyone calls it hunchies.
Yeah.
I got hunchies munchies. Let's go. You know?
Yeah, I got hunchies. We'll go. Yeah, that's that. Nobody calls it a hunch for lunch. The meal is afoot because it's so fucking hard to say. I feel like we've done it. What else could we perfect? We spent about 10 minutes on the name that I think got shortened down a lot because that was a real struggle for us.
It was very, very stressful, but I really enjoy what we've been able to create with the wait staff and the different rooms. I think there should be a cat walking around.
Yeah.
you know, a little spooky cat. That's cute. And then you can adopt the cat if you want. But you have to solve the riddle, the cat's riddle to adopt it.
Sure. Yeah.
I have 9 lives. What am I?
Cat, and then you can adopt it. That's
and then
it.
you can adopt it. You know?
Yeah, you know what? This is their adoption drive, and it's actually very easy to adopt the cat. It's just a perfunctory thing to make it theme at all with it. This is lovely. All right. Well, what a lovely time.
Sherlock Holmes could be one of the names of the cats. Okay, we're good.
Well, that's this episode of Clatfartburg. Thank you so much for everybody for joining us here. We've had such a great time talking about it. We want to give a shout out to a few things. Number one, we have a new member on our Buy Me a Coffee, and that is Zach Barr. Now, Zach Barr is the preeminent. They were the Wonka scholar on our Wonka Watch finale of the podcast that we do not name. We don't hate it. It's just we're trying to move on and kind of purge it from our brains. And if you listen to it, you'd understand why we feel that way. So we were very excited to see.
It was seeing an old friend.
Seeing an old friend. It was very nice to see. So thank you, Zach. They said with their message, "What is a match if not a big stick on fire?" made me audibly gasp. And I want to thank you for that. It was one of my finest work.
I did get chills. I did get chills during that moment.
So we wanted to thank you for that. And yeah, you can head over to our Buy Me a Coffee and, join the squad over there and get some fun bonus content and all that jazz. And we'll give you a shout out if you do. I also want to give another shout out to a good resource I found for donating to people in need in Gaza. There's a project called Operation Olive Branch that brings together a bunch of direct aid to families through GoFundMe. It was just a really helpful resource that I had not seen before until very recently. So I wanted to put it out there because I saw it. I was like, man, this is super helpful for finding places to donate to. So I wanted to give a shout out to it, throw it in the description, get over there, donate some money if you can, because it's good to do.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Well, yeah, with that all being said, we got to figure out our other outro again.
Case closed.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Man.
Bye, guys.
Bye.